The Santa Clarita Valley Food Pantry is a 501c3 nonprofit. We distribute food to needy people in the Santa Clarita Valley. We're basically neighbors helping neighbors. We were started in 1986 by a group of concerned citizens who realized that there were people in their neighborhood or friends that needed an organization like ours. So they went to two local churches, the Santa Clarita United Methodist Church and the, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it, Presbyterian Church, St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, and expressed their concerns. And so the Hunger Coalition was formed. And out of the Hunger Coalition and the research that they did, then the Santa Clarita Valley Food Pantry was formed as a separate 501c3 in 1986. Our mission is to alleviate hunger in the Santa Clarita Valley. And we basically do this with a group of very dedicated volunteers. We source and sort, bag, and distribute food from donations in the community, local markets, restaurants, and individual donors, organizations, and groups donate to us. We do not charge for our services. The majority of our income is considered in-kind donations, and that's basically food donations from individuals, organizations, local markets, restaurants. You know, I have done so many things in my lifetime, from radio sales, assistant, secretary, events coordination, a lot of things. I'm one of those jack of all trades, master of none. But I feel truly blessed to be doing what we do here at the Santa Clarita Valley Food Pantry. I get goosebumps and actually teary every time I think of a small child going to a refrigerator or a pantry and opening it and turning around and saying, "Mom, there's nothing to eat." There have been many times that I've had grown men in my office in tears saying, "I never thought I'd be in this position." And many times I've driven home in tears thinking, I wish that we could... Wait a minute. I'm sorry, stop it. I think the biggest challenge that we face is making sure we have enough food, and kind of the right kind of food, and I know that sounds funny, but making sure we have enough food and the core items that we need to put in every bag, because we want it to be as well-rounded nutritionally as canned foods can be.
My name is Chris Naharro, and I am the Executive Director of Family Promise Santa Clarita Valley. The most rewarding part of my job is being able to give back to the community and help people in need and see them transition out of a homeless situation and into a more permanent and stable condition. Here at Family Promise, we provide assistance with temporary housing, meals, and supportive services. There are no transitional housing programs in Santa Clarita at the moment, so it's very difficult for us to provide transitional shelter outside of our own program. We do make referrals to programs in other cities and areas of Los Angeles County, but none here in Santa Clarita Valley. The most challenging part of my job is saying no to a family that I know is in need, or an individual that I know is in need of housing, or even having to exit a family that isn't participating or meeting the qualifications or requirements of the program. We determine eligibility for Family Promise by a few different requirements, qualifications. They cannot be currently in a domestic violence situation. They could have had that in the past, but not something recent. They also cannot have untreated mental illnesses and no criminal history, and not under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Our families are allowed to stay 90 days with our program. Occasionally, depending on the situation, we could give an extension, but for the most part, it is only 90 days. Our budget comes from three major sources, which are fundraisers, grants, private grants, and foundations, and individual donations. We also receive a lot of in-kind donations throughout the year, which help us with our general operating budget. The Santa Cruz Valley can help by a number of ways, one of which is volunteering, either at one of our congregations, our TCP congregations, or by volunteering here at our resource center, by making individual donations, by spreading the word about Family Promise. So one of the most touching and positive stories that we've had here in Family Promise. It's a very recent. We've had quite a few, but more recently we had a family, a mom and her two sons. Mom did not have any supportive services. Supportive family here in the States, and she just didn't have a support system at all. And so she found herself in a situation where she needed housing. She didn't work, so there was no income. When she came into the program, she stayed over the 90 days because she was doing so well with the program. She ended up finding 2 jobs. Her son got accepted to college, one of her oldest son. The other son was continued to do really well in school, and they moved into their own apartment after being in the program only a few months, and they received so much help from our program, our volunteers. When they finally did move into the apartment, they had all the furnishings that they needed. They had all the supportive help that they needed. We helped with their move-in costs, all of their, like I said, all their furnishings and everything. So family is doing really well, and we keep in touch, and they continue to get some supportive help from Family Promise, and that will probably remain that way for the next year or so.